Hello everybody, welcome to EUGE, an inside look at chasing a dream. My name is Eugene Kinney. I am a 25-year professional stand-up comic, and you have no idea who I am. The reason I mention that is because there are so many of me out there. There are so many comics that you never get to see. Most of the time, by the time you see a comic on Comedy Central or all the shows that you see on network television, every word that you see has been filtered through someone, has been approved by someone. It's really a homogenized version of comedy. Anyway, the reason I do this show, and by me, I do this show with my partner, Chuck Roy, my co-host.
Hello.
Hello, Chuck. How are you?
That's me.
Good to see you.
Good to see you
Good to see you. And the reason that I do this show is because I really want to talk to young comics, new comics, comics. I want you to meet some of the people that I have met in my 25 years across the world, across the country.
Yeah, it's a fun show.
Interesting conversations. Today we're speaking to.
We have a comic?
We have a comic.
Oh, that's exciting.
Comic. Let's bring him on. We have comic Jon Wilkins.
Hi.
How you doing, man?
Good.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for coming to the show. Really appreciate it. John is a stand-up comic and also produces a comedy show.
Yes.
The Highlands Comedy Show
at the Sushi High.
At the Sushi High, and that show happens.
Oh, you do the sushi show?
Yeah,
sushi
exactly.
show.
All right.
I can't wait to do it because
that's what we all call that.
It is. Everybody in town calls that the sushi show. So.
I call it the sushi show.
Do you really?
It's the #1 sushi show in Denver.
It is.
Yes.
It is. Ever since the day it opened.
The only one.
Yeah, I think it is the only one.
So.
But anyway, good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out and do this show. All right, let's get right into it. How long you been into this business?
About 2.5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
2.5 years.
2.5 years.
All right. What brought you into comedy?
Divorce. A little more free time.
Okay. Nothing to do. All right. Okay. All right. So, all right. You're being serious.
No, I've always loved comedy. Like growing up, I always watched, my parents always had the HBO money, so I always watched the HBO. And,
okay.
Comedy stuff. I was always amused by it. I always saw, I'd love to go up and tell jokes and see what that's like. And then I started out with the regular American dream, got married, had a couple kids, then got divorced, and then started doing comedy.
And so how did that happen? I mean, I got divorced and started doing comedy. What does that mean? I
started living with a buddy of mine, and we were out one night and saw that there was an open mic. I realized I always kind of wanted to do comedy, so I just, instead of spending a bunch of time saying, oh, I got to get some material together and do this and do that, I just kind of took the plunge and got up at a sort of variety open mic and tried to tell some jokes. Noticed it was not the easiest thing in the world, but
okay.
I made one or two people laugh, and I figured, I might as well keep trying this.
You were addicted?
You just came up with the idea to do comedy on the way to an open mic?
No. I was at an open mic, and then I was like, do they do comedy? And they said, well, we'll do anything. So I went up and told some jokes about a week later when they were doing their next open mic.
And where was this? This wasn't here?
Stella's on Colfax.
Oh, this was in Denver?
Yeah, it was in Denver. Yep.
Had you ever thought of doing comedy before?
I had thoughts of it, but I never really knew what it took to do comedy, which I think a lot of people that get into it,
right?
Don't.
Really have you ever heard of EUGE show? Have you ever heard of EUGE show? Have you ever heard of EUGE show?
This is the reason why we do this show.
How to do comedy. This is where you go. How to do comedy. This is for your open mic. I want to know. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. I appreciate it.
I took over. Because I heard all the classic symptoms. Those were all the classic symptoms.
Right.
You kind of overplayed, like getting involved in it. I started the band somehow. Sorry, I've had them going. It's apparently. Okay. Love you, Deltones. You really.
They're on the spot.
Yeah, I never gave them the off signal, and
also,
they just, they're union. They'll keep playing until you tell them turn it off.
Today we have a guest outhouse band.
Yeah. Okay.
Local Denver band.
Oh, really? You worked that out?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's exciting. Okay. All right. So Lionized up ahead.
They have agreed. Yeah, we're going to play some of their music today. So they agreed to it.
All right. Back to you and classic symptoms of a person.
I don't know where to find comedy. I don't know where to start.
Yeah. How did you? when did you think you wanted to become a comedian? Walk us through first time you ever thought, all the way up to how you got to that open mic. We got time.
No, I mean, I was a kid when I'd watch the comedians like on TV, like what's his name, Bobby Slayton.
Yeah,
I used to think that guy was hilarious.
He is.
I was a little kid. I'd watch him.
He is hilarious.
I would actively. He's still. I swear.
He still is.
He's still crazy funny.
I sent him a message because I do this thing, the Comedy Kennel, with Matt Wayman, and he said when he comes back to town, he'd be happy to do it. So.
Oh, fantastic!
Oh, he's aces.
Yeah. And he, like, I was surprised he sent me a message back. I was like, oh.
Yeah, he's ridiculously funny. I've been there for years. We've worked together quite a lot.
And the reason I sent him a message is because he has the, whenever he's at Comedy Works or whatever, they always say the pit bull of comedy. Whatever, so I was like, send him to dogs, have him on the Comedy Kennel.
Oh, nice, nice.
I like the way you put that together.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did your first set on a whim at an open mic.
Right.
Okay, so that doesn't count. Tell me about the first time you did some stand-up comedy. Tell me about the first time you told some jokes.
There was probably between that and then I think it was bi-weekly. So between then, I just did a bunch of Googling and researching, found all the websites where it says there's open mic comedy, but a lot of the places were kind of old, like not updated websites and
5280?
whatever else. No, 5280 was, I think that came out about 2 or 3 months after I started doing comedy.
Okay.
And then I found, where'd I go? Kinga's. I think it was Kinga's.
Right.
And the reason I kept doing it is I think Brett Hiker was the host that night. I made some smart-ass remark to him after the show, and then he asked me how long I'd been doing comedy and where I was from. I was like, well, if I fooled him, then I guess I should probably keep doing it.
Right.
So then probably from that point on, I've been out 5-6 nights a week, like ever since then.
So where are you from?
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yes.
And so you got divorced.
It's a good place to be from.
I don't. I don't know the Baltimore area, but
what's it like
I hear
to
good
be a
things
tragic alcoholic?
I usually use the land of heroin and murder. I have a pretty good, probably 5-8 minutes on Baltimore alone.
Okay.
It's a fun place to be from. And it's a good place to talk about. And everybody knows it because of The Wire. And I like to say that nothing in that show is implied. It all happens. Like it's there. You get killed doing anything.
What does your family think about you doing comedy?
My mom has always been into entertainment. My father, he went to see me doing open mic. And
tell me about your mom. What is your mom? Always been in entertainment?
No, she's always been into entertainment.
Oh, into? I thought she was in the business.
No, she's always, like she was, the Jewish mom that like has the Hollywood Reporter on the coffee table and whatever. She loves movie stars and actually, funny story.
No, wait a minute. I don't know the Jewish mom. the coffee, the Hollywood. I saw that magazine.
Parents, not the regular other.
Okay, I saw the magazine. When I was in Hollywood, and that's the first I ever heard of it. I couldn't imagine why somebody.
She was
would
always
buy elsewhere.
starstruck. Always loved stars. And
Hollywood
really?
Reporter.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah.
But you're in entertainment. Somebody somebody likes entertainment. I get why they would read it.
Right.
I just didn't think people would.
It's cool.
She ruined so many shows for me.
We're not allowed to talk
because this person was going to be on another show, and then I was like, well, then I guess they're getting killed off this show or something. So she ruined a few shows.
Oh, so she would read what's coming up.
She'd read the rags.
Okay, and so she would know that. Okay, if the character was switching shows, he's probably going to get killed off on the other show.
Exactly. Okay. So I learned that stuff early, I guess. But she always, took me. We'd go to New York a lot, and we'd always go to plays and this and that. She's always liked to be in, the know of what was going on with entertainment and whatever else. And it's kind of interesting. She has heard a few of my sets. She doesn't like any of my Nazi Holocaust material about being Jewish or whatever. She'll make me turn it off. She doesn't like any of that.
Well,
which I don't like a lot of it either, like when the other comics are doing it.
Well, some people would say the Holocaust has been played out.
It has been played out.
I don't think any Jewish people would say that. But
no, it's, it always strikes me funny when some people come up with some pretty clever stuff, but then I'm like, I try to take it a different way.
Right.
But,
Are you saying people don't believe your Holocaust jokes are true?
No, they believe them. They now understand why I like flying instead of taking trains. That's one of my Holocaust things.
Oh no,
that's terrible. She doesn't like that one.
Oh, it's the Holocaust death train.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
Awful. Why am I laughing at that?
I always wondered where you could find the humor in the Holocaust death train. And there it is.
That was get mixed reviews on that one.
All right. Okay. So you haven't yet told me about your second show. I mean, where did you?
Well, after the first one, Kinga's. So if I just go in order, I guess the second one was Lion Slayer.
Okay, so we go to a lot of local place here in Denver.
A lot of local stuff, and I just kept going and going and going. Then there's there's a few comedians that put on shows that aren't really in the scene, but they do things. So I was on a couple of those shows, and they were interesting. But I just kept working it, and I'm not shy about going up and talking to people or telling people I really like your jokes without ogling over people or whatever else. So I just try and be pretty diplomatic about things. Met people and just kept trying and trying. I think people saw that I was hustling it and just kept showing up. And I've heard in the past there's that thing that people don't really want to know your name until you show up for a couple months, and then it's worth knowing your name.
Yeah, this is a very, very transient business. So I mean, a lot of people fly through this business, do a couple of shows, and you never see them again.
Yeah, in my short period of time, I've seen a lot of people come and go, and then
I treat the newbies like they did in Vietnam. I don't want to know your name because you're probably going to die in the first couple of weeks.
What's your name?
Exactly.
And that is. I mean, I've seen that. I mean, after I was hanging out for a while, and I'm talking to people, and actually, I did have a friend that I think Chuck, you know him, Sam Wallace.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah.
I love Sam.
Chuck knows nobody.
I love Sam.
I worked with Sam at Database Marketing Company.
Yeah.
And
Sam had he donated his sound system to the Squire Lounge.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
really?
Sam's a good egg.
Excellent, Sam.
What did he do with
Good
his
giver,
dildo prop? Did he keep that?
He kept that.
Yeah, I hope so.
At the Squire Lounge.
At the Squire. But I
permanently placed that inside himself.
Sort of slipped my mind. I worked with him, and he was doing comedy, and that's sort of where I realized that regular humans can just go out and do comedy. But I never really pursued it or anything. I was married at that point. I just had my first kid, and he took me out one night with a bunch of guys. We went to Armidas. He used to love that place, I guess, and met some people. And then I went out when he moved out of town, and then he stopped doing comedy. But the first time I went to the Squire, that's a Tuesday, so that was probably my third mic. I think Kevin O'Brien and Baumhauer was back guest hosting because it was after he gave it up and gave it to Sam.
Greg Baumhauer.
Sam was on the road. He was on the road, and I mentioned his name to Kevin. He knew him, and Baumhauer knew him. And
let me have a camera for a second.
I guess I knew someone that knew
sorry
someone.
about all these inside names. These are local comics here in Denver, Colorado. So if you don't know them, sorry. But anyway, continue.
And most of them are still doing comedy.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Except for Sam. But I went to the Squire, and I talked to Greg, and I talked to Kevin, and they're like, yeah, we'll get you up. And I went up, and people would always say you get eaten alive at the Squire, and I went up, and someone laughed at a joke there. I was like, wow, cool, all right. Yeah. So I just kept doing it.
Let's get to a conversation. You brought up something called the scene, and you brought up, all the wacky names and how they're transient. Some of those people have quit comedy several times within this conversation.
Right.
Yes, they have. Sorry.
Officially on the board.
Yes, you are.
So that can be something that intimidates people, and I guess walk us through once you get going. Now that you've been at it a couple of years, what is that scene?
It's just showing up every night and doing your set, not complaining about going up late, like knowing that there's a lot of people on the scene and there's a lot of comics, and you're going to get your spot, and you're going to, at the Squire, that's one of those places that, it would be 1:58 at night, and then to say, all right, I can get you up for like 30 seconds or something, or maybe even get bumped, or not get on. But it's things didn't discourage me, and like you said, a lot of people have quit, and I've seen people get discouraged about certain things, but I don't know, I've got this drive that I just want to keep doing it. The laughs and the I don't want to say camaraderie of it, because I'm not hanging out with comics all the time and whatever outside of going out and doing things, but there's just a certain feeling of like being there and telling jokes and having people say, wow, that was good, it sounds like you've been writing a little, or you've been doing this, or you've been doing that, and like sort of an appreciation of that someone else is doing the same sort of art that you're doing. Right. And it just, you get embraced like by people if they like what you're doing, and you just keep doing it. It's I like I don't know what's that word. I like not justification, but more like you know, whatever that word is that I just can't think of.
From your peers.
Yeah, from your peers. Right. Like, oh yeah, good job. Like you're doing good. Like that's, and it sort of gives you a motivation to keep doing it.
We wouldn't know what the fuck you're talking about when it comes to complimenting people or giving them some sort of affirmation.
I've heard you guys.
It's a lousy fucking show.
Oh, I do. I
do. I've seen that a lot too. I mean, like comics will go up and they'll go up and they'll say, "Man, this is a terrible show," or this is awful, or I don't know why I come back and do this. And I was like, I don't know, just do it. Do it for yourself.
Well, what can people expect when they walk into their 30th open mic? What do they see?
How do you keep motivated for that?
I just I don't know. I write some stuff and I want to see what the reaction is. And I used to fumble around a little more. I used to be very monotone and not, you know, I'd go up there and no inflections, and I'd get off stage and they'd say, well, if I heard you better, I think you probably would have been funnier. You had some pretty funny concepts.
Yeah, that could be a symptom there of why some people get discouraged early, is not writing stuff and bringing the same routine.
That's a very good point. The more you write, the more motivated you are.
Yeah, and if you're bringing the same routine, like if you watch our shows, go through the archive, you'll see everybody will tell you what open mics are like. And eventually you get boiled down to that open mic where it's the same 30 people who've seen your stuff over and over again. So if you go in there without any new jokes, they're going to give you what feels like a cold, icy stare, but frankly, they're just trying to remember their own jokes. And if you don't care enough to bring them anything new,
they're not going to listen.
Yeah, why not just stare at what you're doing?
Well, that's you notice it on mics. I mean, people they'll go outside and they'll come back in when they're going on, or if there's certain people. And I mean, you can go to an open mic where there's 5 people. I went to one last night. There were 5 people there. But I wrote some new stuff, and the guy that was hosting was like, "Oh, it sounds like you've been writing." I'm like, "Yeah, well, I mean, the mic's for me. It's not for the other comics that are sitting there. It's so that when I do my sushi show every week, I don't go up and MC with the same material every time. That'll get very stale very quick, and then people say, "Well, maybe you should have guest hosts, or maybe you should have this, or maybe you should have that." And I'm like, "Well, maybe I should just write material between each one."
Yeah, I saw a comic on Facebook who had just got promoted here locally from the 3-minute list to the 4-minute list. And the post was that they had been doing the 3-minute list for 4 years. So it took them 4 years to get a minute added to the time that they could do, down at the Comedy Works. I mean, how do you stay motivated for that?
What did that mean, by the way, 2-minute list and 3-minute list?
Well, the local club here, the Comedy Works, the amateur talent, they start out in the new talents, and they get a certain amount of time. They move up from 2 minutes to 3 minutes to 4 minutes, and then hopefully by the time they get to like 5 minutes, they're working on the list. They're officially getting paid.
When we get back from the break, we'll talk about how you put a set together for that, and then what that means, the list and all that kind of stuff. But we have to talk to the, there's people.
Right back.
Eugene has nice things to say. This one? Oh, and if you wanted to sponsor this show,
if you wanted to sponsor
an ad right there.
Yeah, we could have gotten an ad, but we're going to click on that right there, so we can see this ad right here, now. So
this one?
Yeah, click that right there.
That's one?
Yeah.
Really?
That right there is.
Shut up! Really?
I'm telling you.
I thought that was Papa Caption.
No. That is the.
Oh. I thought you were saying we were going to do Papa Caption next. I know what that is.
That is the.
Oh my God! I can tell what that is by the
slider
look
special
of it.
at RE's Tavern. You get that right there for $4.
Shut up!
I'm telling you, $4.
Can you get that Like when?
They have it. I think that's their Tuesday or Wednesday special. They have different specials every single day. But I went in the other day. I had that right there. I never take a picture of my food, but I took a picture of this food because I couldn't believe that was $4, and that's every day. That's not anything different. That's not a special.
Not enlarged.
No, it's not enlarged. That's the special at Ari's right there.
Actual size. I
wanted you to see that.
I like that. I like that. I like that. One more time.
Ari's Tavern. They are at 5686 Pecos Street, Denver, Colorado. Come in and get that right there for $4.
Sweet.
Yeah. So there you go.
Nice.
Welcome back. And that reminded me that since we said that, we still have to set up the Papa Caption module.
Yeah.
So
I was shopping for that.
Yeah,
why don't I go to one of you two?
Well,
I go looking for how to solve that problem. Everybody, you'll notice my face jumping into the shot.
Well, let me.
You can interview him. My face won't poke in.
That's okay. Oh, there we go. There we go. If you go down to where we just had the Ari's Tavern and just change the location, like right-click, up in the picture, open.
Yeah.
Does that say? Do you see an open on there?
Yeah. It says source 2.3.
No. Hold on. Let me do it. But I'll show you. You talk to.
Well, guest, why don't you talk to us about the last time you got thrown on stage real quick at an open mic?
Actually, I was at an open mic last Sunday, and when I walked in, the host said, "You're hosting tonight."
Oh, really?
I was like, "Okay, all right."
Okay, so I want to get real basic to people who are brand new. They walk into an open mic. What kind of set can they expect here in Denver?
Just from anybody, or
what do they have to what do they have to prepare?
what do they have to prepare?
Yeah.
Something that they did not read on the internet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very important.
And what can they prepare to succeed?
Something that's, I don't know, what I've noticed that works for me is something that's a little real, like something that happened to you. When a certain guy walks on stage and he tells a set and he's like, "Well, me and my girlfriend," and you're like, "That guy doesn't have a girlfriend."
Yeah.
Like, say something real, like something that really happened. A lot of my comedy is just stuff going on in my life, like things that have happened or things that I observe or notice, and I don't even know if I can define whatever my comedy is, but
what would a joke look like? Do you write them on paper or in your phone? Or
I used to write them down on paper, and I realized I just don't like writing things. So what I'm doing now is recording them when I think of them, then listening to them and writing them down.
Okay.
So because I don't write like I think, and I when you put those two things together, I think that makes all the difference in the world. If I could write down exactly what I wanted it to sound like, so I've switched it up where I record it when I think of it, and then I write it down from what I recorded, because you say, well, that doesn't make any sense, or this word doesn't belong here.
Sure.
And I'm still honing in on that. Where do words belong, or what is, where's the punchline?
Yeah.
And you listen to certain stories, and you can go on with a 2-minute story, and at the end there's something funny that's said, and then you realize you missed, I don't know, 10 different opportunities to put a punchline.
See, if you had centered it up. Sorry, was I just getting closer and closer?
Yeah, I just enjoyed pushing your face out of the way. This is right where I want his head to be, right here. It's artistic. This little space right here, this is artistic.
Okay.
Oh, look, there's Papa
There we
Caption.
go. All right, we're up. We're good. Okay, go ahead.
The folks at home love when we tease you.
Thank you. So we're back. Sorry, guys, I had to do some.
You tell them. Oh man, I went right. To
thank you while I coughed into the. Jesus.
I have nowhere to go. That's.
Oh God.
Roberta Dell and the Deltones are filling in for 7 seconds.
Hey, let's do some
Play a
line
little
eyes.
song like "Let Me Clear My Throat."
Let's do some line eyes. Hit the player, the audio player down
Where is
there.
that? This one here.
The little squares. Yeah,
Right.
hit one of them. Let's play some line eyes here. I can see they're playing.
that's definitely lionized.
Yeah, that's probably all the volume we got right in here.
That's him.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, they're very visual.
Got that? Yeah.
I like it. It evokes an imagery.
They make you.
He's melancholic.
He plays the hell out of the guitar. Too.
Yeah, a guitar and a violin. We just wanted to play some music, everybody. We'll get back to being serious about a show.
This is local Denver band Lionize.
We were gonna play a game. I went to the cameras while you cleared your throat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Pretty confident we were in the middle of something before that.
We were gonna do some Papa Caption.
Oh yeah, and then afterwards we'll talk about your set, like we promised the kids before the break.
Well yeah, let's have a look at his set real quick then. Turn the Lionize off.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll play some of them at the end.
Well, there you go. And here we go.
See, you gotta fade out.
Play it back up. Oh, is that what you do?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now go over to the right where it says player 2.
Player
Deuce. Over to the left some more. Over to the left some more and up right there. That player right there. There we go.
Player.
And now click on the effect module to the right there so we can get picture in picture. There we go.
That's
I was not raised in the 90s. I was born in 1973. Yeah, when people cared about their kids. And I don't know. My dad's a car dealer, right? They did birth announcements back then. So he's a Buick dealer. I was like model Wilkins, make, whatever, color peach. And like I just turned 40, and like I'm afraid to go to the doctor though. You know, not for that regular, finger thing, whatever. But I'm afraid that doctor's gonna tell me my cost of repairs outweigh my Blue Book value.
That's a funny joke.
I like that joke.
I love that joke.
It's gonna fucking suck. Doctors could be like, "You're totaled, man. 2 weeks in the islands. Salvage." I don't know. But anyway, I got a new job recently. That's fun. It's at the top of a 14-story building. I was walking around the first day, gazing out the window for like 10 minutes, just thinking to myself, should I jump? It's a job, right? I don't know. At the end of the first week, the boss asked me if I want to go to lunch. I'm like, sure. She's like, wherever you want to go. So we go to lunch. Then the bill comes. She says, we're going to go Dutch. I'm like, you're my boss. So immediately, I took a tablecloth from the table next to me, threw it over her head, and farted.
Dutch.
Oh.
Dutch oven.
Got you.
We went Dutch. Yeah.
I can't believe I got a laugh.
Look at the menu.
It's not good. I was sitting home all day today, bored, so bored. And the Lifetime movie channel, like they have a movie coming out. I saw a commercial for it, life-changing. It's about a bunch of sexually confused people in Iowa called Trans Farmers. Yeah. And I've been John, and you guys have been great.
Oh, look at that.
Well, no.
A textbook 2-minute set.
That sure was a textbook 2-minute set.
You know what? That wasn't supposed to be a textbook 2-minute set. It was supposed to be a 3-minute set, and I made a mistake that I will never make again. I don't like the light at Comedy Works. I don't know why. I just like the way it is. So I put my phone in my pocket, put a 3-minute timer on it, counted down. Someone called me at 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
And you thought it was?
And I thought it was the end of my set. Never do that again. Airplane mode at best.
That's a bad. Wow, that's a bad idea. That was
a terrible idea.
It sounded like a great idea until someone calls you.
Until someone calls you, yeah.
Right.
That's what low self-esteem does for you. Like you think nobody's ever going to call you, and then they call you when you're doing a set of Comedy Works.
Right.
Yeah.
They might have called you to say, "Hey, I'm in the audience and you're killing."
Right, exactly.
You are killing it, man.
But I've heard it's better to go under and not get your mic cut than to go over and get your mic cut. But I've seen plenty of people do really well and get the mic cut. I don't know.
Well, I think it's the time. I mean, it's covering the time.
Right.
Once you get to a certain level in comedy, I mean, everybody's funny.
Right.
So whether you're killing or not doesn't matter. It's the time. Even if you're destroying, even if every single time you open your mouth you get a standing ovation, if you get paid to do 20, you better be closing at 19:45.
Sure. I think it goes to your point of signing up and being at an open mic, and the stage time doesn't become available until 1:58 and 30 seconds.
Right.
I understand how that discourages some people at open mics, but comedy isn't waiting for you.
Right.
It isn't waiting for anybody. And so if you're at the open mic level and just trying to get good, the shows are only where they're at, only for when you can get on and when that producer decides to put you on.
Right.
If you don't like it, tough, and if you're going to play a place like Comedy Works and they tell you 3 minutes, I would specifically get that 3 minutes done until they routinely know your name, and you can for sure go up without knowing whether or not you're going to fulfill your time, walk off early, walk off late. You can get to that level of Comedy
Speaking
Works.
of Comedy Works, thank you everybody who came out and saw the show last night, Sunday night at the Comedy Works. I had a really good time headlining this show. Thanks for Chris Fonseca for coming out too and doing the show. But it was a really good time.
Yeah, Comedy Works is a great place. It's just standing up on that stage, and it's funny when you get your 2-minute set, because I found the phone number and I started calling. I signed up for New Faces right away, like when I first started, and probably 2 months into like going out to mics and everything, I went out to Comedy Works, and you hear a lot of people say, "Oh, now I'm going to do 2 minutes. Oh, now I'm going to whittle my stuff down to 2 minutes."
Right.
And if you're that new of a comic, and you're not just telling jokes, and you can do it in 2 minutes, then what are you doing for that 2 minutes?
It always amazes me that I see comics that I know have been in the business for a couple of years, and they look at me and say, "I can do 40 minutes," and I'm like, no, you can't. You really can't. I don't know what you're doing for 40 minutes, but it's not comedy. It's not A-list comedy.
Yeah. It's just I just had a conversation about that with a couple people, and it's 15 minutes, and then I've got 10 minutes of filler.
Yeah.
And filler isn't really what
you're
people
not.
are coming to.
People don't pay you to get filler.
I guess you could look at it from a producer's perspective, or you could look at it from the audience perspective. The producer trying to satisfy something they've guaranteed to the audience, a comedy show. The audience is coming up wanting to see a comedy show, and so a person hands out time based on that, and then your job really just fulfill the art within that time frame. And if the show isn't run by time frame, then fulfill the art within whatever context the show's organized by. It's pretty simple. Funny, just be funny over and over again. If it, walk away with people leaving going, that act was funny. However you can achieve that goal.
That's the guy that owns Sushi High. Like he's put it completely in my hands to put whatever comics I want on there. I've been, it's been great because a lot of the comics, they just love it, and that's because they like sushi, I think.
Yeah.
But
that's cool.
You get a lot of very funny people on there, but the owner will sit there in the audience and he'll watch the show. And he said the other day, he's like, when you get guys that are there, you can at least make sure that 60% of the time they're on there, they're being funny. Because every once in a while you get someone on there, and if they're not getting laughs, and I absolutely hate when people blame the audience, because you can see one guy go up and just it's stale, another guy goes up right afterwards, and the same people laugh and fall out of their chairs laughing.
It's never the audience. It's never
not
the
the
crowd.
audience.
It's never the crowd.
This is the part I was itching to talk to you about, because you've put together your own show. I've said no to you countless times because, frankly, I used to play Comedy Works, and what your show pays isn't comparable to the club where we just saw you play. The club where we just saw you play, look at that layout. It's textbook perfect. It's listen to what you're getting for applause, and this is the environment you want to see comedy in. But look at where you have great seating, people up front, they're pointed to. The show is set up to succeed. What is your show set up like, and where do you think people are falling short of the owner's expectations?
Well, it's interesting though. The show that he said that to me after, they decided, because we have it in the back room usually, where the servers will come out and they'll, you can order your drinks and you can do all that stuff, and it actually has a club feeling to it.
Okay.
And if you're standing in the one spot, people are around you. One week, the other owner, because there's two guys, said maybe we should do it in the bar, and then we did it, and it's more of like a tunnel.
Right.
And you're sitting up in the front, and people are lined up, and they're not all around you. And that was the worst show ever. It was the third one, and it was the worst. And then the next week, I told them we have to move back to the other room, and we did, and it was a great show again.
So, what do you think? Talk to that. You've started your own show. There are several shows around town. I myself produce a show around town. Do you feel that comedy is watered down by the number of shows that are in town, or do you think that actually helps? The more stages, the better.
I think it helps if you promote it right, and you're promoting it to the neighborhood or the people that might want to come to that show. Like the Sushi High show is cool because, and I always say this, they got that sushi money, right?
Right.
They're going out, they want to be entertained, they'll sit there, they'll eat, they'll drink, they'll do all kinds of things. It's not like just going to a bar show where someone might order some fries or someone might get this, and if they want to go get a drink, they have to go up to the bar and get a drink. Like the owner is from New York, and he's a Jewish-Italian guy, so he's real business, whatever, oriented. He's been in the Denver business scene for a long time, and he decided at one point, I want to have a comedy show, I don't know how to start it. And I coincidentally ran into a guy that I went to a meeting with when I first started doing comedy, and then ran into him at another open mic when he was just walking by when I was outside. And he said, I've been looking for you. And I'm like, I don't know why people would be looking for me.
Sure.
But then we got to talking, and within a week, we were sitting down with the guy that owns Sushi High, and then within a week from there, we had the show going.
Okay.
And he showed me the room, and I was like, this looks like a comedy club. Like the wall in the back at Comedy Works.
Sure.
Like there's brick walls all over the place there. There's marble on the floor. There's like all these nice, like, just real nice looking place, low ceilings, and like they put a spotlight up, so it's like a real show.
And so it seats about how many?
There's probably about, if their couches weren't so fat, they could probably get about 70 people in that top room, and then in the bottom room where there's just a ramp up to it, you could probably put another 70, 80 people in there, and you can see the comic from where we stand from the bottom room also.
Sure.
So
So what then the question would beg to differ, like why did it how can you get the show to get to where I needed to be to want to play there, because his customer isn't looking for bar comics who are trying rape jokes,
right?
And it sounds to me like he signaled to you, try and get comedians to reach a certain level, and I'd say, well, that fish you're serving costs money, and the jokes you're asking comedians to deliver jokes that are, now we've reached above the amateur status,
right?
And so I guess my question is to you, how can you get your budget to meet a professional
there is a budget
status,
which is nice,
and how can you get a budget like for people who are brand new?
I ran another show, and it was a terrible show. You did it once. The
I
Legends of Aurora show.
I had a great time at the Legends of Aurora show.
But it wasn't supported by the venue at all.
Right. You could tell it wasn't.
Yeah. And they, pay a headliner like $25 or something like that, and it was like, and then I think maybe one feature,
right.
And they gave everybody a drink, but it was really a bar show,
right.
And it's the way I see a lot of bar shows are people have been coming in and drinking at this place for years and years and years, and tonight we're going to bring a bunch of guys in to try and make you laugh, but you might or might not think it's funny, but enjoy your bar like you have for the past 15 years.
Right. Tell just real quick, what's a bar show? I think you just defined it, but a quick definition of a bar show.
Throwing a bunch of comics up, and either if it's an open mic or if it's an actual just showcase show.
Joey's Bar and Grill, the neighborhood bar.
Yeah.
Applebee's to even something. Modern Drunkard magazine,
right,
is what you're talking about.
Yeah, and you'll put ads up or something, and usually if the comic puts a poster together or something, then they'll hang something up, and then people might have an indication that there's going to be a comedy show there.
Yeah,
but you see a lot of times where people walk in, they're like, "Well, what's going on here? I didn't know this was happening," or whatever.
Oh, you guys have comedy tonight?
Oh yeah, comedy tonight.
Well, what you're talking about is
like,
detailed. When Stand Up Stood Out is a movie about Boston comedy starting, and there were all these legendary stories about the Ding Ho, and exactly what you're talking about is what any new comic who starts their room in a bar might find is you end up having to get into a service issue, might be the nicest way to phrase it, for the locals who that was their drinking haunt, and now you've thrown a comedy show at them. So I guess tell us about how you fell into your place and what were the pitfalls of the other show.
The pitfalls of the other show is it just wasn't really supported. The great thing
explain
about
that for me again, for somebody who's brand new trying to start their own show.
I do some graphic design, so I put the posters together and whatever else. And the owner's like, "Well, if you want to get some printed up, we can hang them up." He's like, "Well, this is your bar. Like, you've got ownership over this."
So did he come to you to do the show, or did you come to him to do the show?
On the first one, I kind of sort of lucked into that one because someone else made a connection with the guy that owned the show. He didn't know how to really market it real well, and then just assumed, I mean, I was a marketing guy for years and years and years, so I said, "Oh, I'll help you out," and then we started doing it, and then the guy who got the show actually just dropped off the face of the earth. So then it just became my show. So every week I'm getting them posters and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, but they weren't promoting to their neighborhood. They weren't saying, "Oh, there's a comedy show every week," and it wasn't. They weren't making people.
Was that another comic that dropped off the planet?
It was, yeah, I guess.
We've fallen into like a really technical episode, but this is the stuff that like Eugene tells you he hosts his own shows. Since I started, the solution to stage time, being a New Hampshire kid, and that's an hour drive to Boston. Right. So you solve it by getting a show in your own hometown. So for people out there who are in Wisconsin or Australia going, how do I start a show? I think maybe we should do another episode on what to do from ground zero, but can you give some advice or some starting points for someone who wants to start their own new show? What should you look for?
Look for someone who's not just trying to save their bar. He's like, "Oh, I need to make money on a Sunday night. I'll bring some comics in." Then all these people are just going to pour in and they're going to start laughing at these guys. The thing that helped out a lot with the sushi show is they were doing karaoke and they weren't making any money doing karaoke. Why would you go to this place to do karaoke if you can go to this place, and this place? Then you got places like Armida's that do comedy or do karaoke 7 nights a week. So it's a dedicated
karaoke
place for karaoke. The owner of Sushi Eye was just motivated. He wanted to hang out with comics. He wanted to see what the comedy
What night is your show?
Was Thursdays.
Okay, cool.
And it was nice because he said to me, "What's it going to take to bring people in?" And to your point, I'm talking to him about, let's do some of these special shows, like maybe do a Friday night show where we get 3 comics on there and make a real show out of it, have people buy tickets. And we're sort of slowly building to that because as we have a good Thursday weekly show, then those people that come to the weekly show, it's like, "Hey, you like the 10, 15 minutes like I had? You want to see him put 25 minutes into it?" Like something that he might do when he's opening up for one of these touring headliners come through Comedy Works or something like that. Like, see what they can really do because like really good comics, you put them on there. Like we had Ben Roy, dropping another name. We had him on, and he actually filled in for someone who got sick. And he went in, he said, "Oh, it's great. Oh, I get some sushi? Wonderful." So, and that's always like the thing. I was like, "Oh, I get sushi."
I get it. That's, and, we talked about, I got some sushi, but how about ballpark what you think a show should cost a place like a sushi bar with $70? What do you tell them?
I told them that I needed to pay the headliner at least $50.
Okay.
And then and he pays 5 people on the show, so and I need to whittle that down a little because the show's too long. That's a whole nother technical thing about.
How long do you think a show should be?
I think the show should be an hour and a half.
Yeah, because the place we showed you, that's 90 minutes.
Yeah, 90-minute show, and that's where we're getting to. He wanted 10 people every time.
Okay.
I was like, you know how hard it is to book 10 people that you want to be funny every single week. So now I got it down to 7 this week. I want to get down to, or actually no, I only have 6 booked right now. So I can put one more on, or I can just leave it like that. Let people stretch their legs a little bit and make it an hour-and-a-half show and still give everybody ample time. But when we had Ben on, it's funny because he's doing all kinds of things. He's doing his
He's at the
HBO
Montreal
thing
Comedy
now. He's at the
Festival,
Montreal
which
Comedy
is, you know, like
Festival.
why, yeah, go ahead.
That's why you do comedy, right? So you can go do big things.
No, I bring it up because that's why you have to pay more than $50.
Right,
like,
of course,
you know, if they've got the sushi money coming in and it's on their night where you're augmenting their sales,
Right.
They gotta, you know, they gotta meet the market price for a comedian.
Right.
You know, we can't do benefits for the sushi restaurant to have a comedy show. I'm not saying no to their business, but to try and educate on where the model has got to get to. You talked about another incentive, stage time. Eugene found a lot of luck with stage time on his show. Like you give how many long spots?
We do 10-minute spots for every. We do 10-minute spots.
I love doing your show.
And thank you. And I try to do my show also not only just the 10-minute spots, because I know a lot of people around town don't get to do 10-minute spots ever that have 10 minutes of material. But I also try to put my shows into a weekend schedule.
Right.
I try to put them on prime time. I think that that there's really no reason that comics have to be relegated to the Tuesday nights, the nights with nobody there to try to build an audience. I mean, I think a comedy show is equal to a band. If you're going to put a band in on a Saturday night, I can compete with your band.
Right. That's when I first started doing comedy. I noticed that. I was like, wow, I'm always busy Sunday through Thursday, but I'm always free on Friday and Saturday, where you think that's where people are going out if they want to go see comedy.
Well, that is true. That is prime time. People do go to the clubs on the weekends and see comics. You know, and if you're going to somewhere and you're spending, you know, your $30 on a ticket or whatnot, and your 2-drink minimum, and then you're paying parking. Okay, I can understand. Yes, we need to have a major top level headliner. We don't want anybody practicing in front of me.
Sure, but for this,
exactly.
You know, for that
right there.
For that right there, what the goal of this show is, I'm going to leave it up as an ad because never mind the ad. It's the customer who's there who enjoys the show and wants. They have some expectations. They want to be able to hear the comic, for the show to be funny. And what else do you see as expectations for?
I think if people,
when somebody wants to come have a burger like this in a bar like that on a Friday night,
they have to laugh. Like, it's funny because a lot of the time, like, and you hear comics say it. And I'm sure I've said it before a few times. It was like, that one was for me. Well, if it's for you, don't tell it.
Right, exactly. None of it's for you.
Yeah, because it's not. It's for them. They're the audience.
If it's for you, you're masturbating. You're not telling. You know, that's you know what I mean.
What's the owner complaining about at your place? What are where are the comics failing?
There was one comic that did a couple poop jokes at a restaurant. Like, and
you had Jake.
A couple.
Yeah, Jake Sharon on. No,
there was a lot of poop jokes,
but they're
people
funny
are eating
bar
sushi
jokes, but people are eating sushi. I mean, first of all, it's already a little disgusting to some people. I mean, I love sushi, but like some people are like, oh, I'm
for the first time and getting in.
Trying to swallow a piece of sushi when someone's talking about pooping their pants, it's like it's not.
Yeah, if one half of the date has already drug you there, and and then it's poop jokes on top of that, right?
So, but the guys that do great, like Ben, like when he did it, he filled in last minute. I mean, Ben could just get up and just tell a bunch of jokes, and that's just.
Oh, Ben's a professional comic.
And the audience at one point just wasn't paying quite as much attention, and he got him back, but a table or two left, and it was to the point of the show had gotten to like 2 hours.
And
that's too long.
Right.
And as a professional comic, you don't want people worn out before you get on stage.
Sure.
No matter how good you are, still people are worn out.
If their night is over, you're done.
Yeah,
I mean, because when people go, hey, I'm ready to go home, I'm through with this, they're through with this. Yeah. No matter how funny you are, no matter, you know.
Until you get to the point where you're at the big club and people are paying to see you, then your comedy and people are paying to see comedy and your take on it. So if you give them that while you also respect what they're after, the show they came to see, what was in their head, a bunch of comics get up. So you just have to meet that expectation, which some people can be wrong with what they envision, but generally people at a sushi restaurant in Denver are gonna they're going to be like, yeah, we'll eat, we'll go to comedy, and then we'll be home. We'll try to fuck before we go to work in the morning.
And I mean, there's a whole nother restaurant that's huge that if they just want to go eat sushi, they can just go eat sushi.
Right.
And we do a thing with it where, I mean, there's a $10 admission to get into the show, but we don't really charge a $10. It's like a perceived value. We give out tickets all the time. Like, so that, because we want to know who's coming to the show or whatever, and some people do pay to get into the show, and that's fine, but that's on the restaurant now. Like, they post a little hostess up there and whatever else, but I put this stuff on Facebook and whatever else all the time. I just posted, and it's funny, the set that you showed, Elliot he came out right at the end, and he's the headliner this time. So for this week, and I put his poster up with the ticket. If you want to go to the show and not pay the $10 admission, print this ticket out and bring it with you. They're also doing Westward ads, which is unheard of.
Right.
Like, there are not a lot of shows in town where like an owner of a restaurant is going to put a Westward ad out specifically for the comedy. And your name's actually, because you're in 2 weeks, your name's on the ad. It's I'm not sure what page it's, somewhere around 30. But
thank you. I'll find it.
But yeah, it says it's got the name of last week's or the week that's coming up and the name of the next week guy. But support from the venue is so needed.
So let's go back to your...
Speaking of support, we want to thank our supporters. For 7 seconds, just want to say thanks here.
Thank you so much.
Roberta and the Flackety Flacks back to close out the show later on tonight.
Yes, I love those girls.
So we just
let's hit another song for Lion Eyes.
We're going to play a little bit of Lion Eyes to everybody. That's another track you can go to SoundCloud. We'll pop a caption.
Did we ever pop? We didn't pop a caption.
We're gonna.
Are we gonna pop a caption before we go? Good. Okay. All right. Now I love this. I love
you
this.
Like this.
Yeah.
You could listen to this on your way to Ari's Tavern.
Yeah. I can listen to this while eating a couple of sliders that I just paid $4 for.
Let's see if we can't listen to this and groove to some rock and roll.
Hey.
I'm gonna fade out on our fellas. I love that song. They rip.
All right, here we go. Pop a caption is just like what it sounds. If you would, do we have the others? So we're in it. Go to the. There we go. Click, take that one, and now you have to roll through the photos. On the other one.
Picture in picture. It has
yes, we are. Are we not? Oh, did I have the wrong picture in there?
Yeah.
Oh, here, let me fix that.
Here we have, in just a moment, folks, you're going to see all of us pop right in the picture. Your in picture is set up on.
So let's take the camera
to. I can't take the one with you looking right into it.
There we go.
Don't tell mom, but the babysitter is 7,000 feet tall.
Oh my God. Oh, by the way, pop a caption just like it sounds. We're throwing up these pictures. If something pops in your head, pop a caption on that. Just a little, comedy writing exercise we like to do.
Betty the giant puppet wanted to know what time it was in London, so she asked Big Ben.
I think those pulleys at the bottom are strapped to her boobs.
Oh, wow. And this is how they're keeping Queen Elizabeth alive.
Biggest marionette I've ever seen. And the smallest marionette operator.
That is huge.
Is that guy operating that?
Here, let's operate the marionettes. I'll be over here. I'm going to hit her titties.
Are we? Oh, wait.
Sorry.
Are we?
Okay. Yeah, if you put, other hand and you'll be able to pull a string. Right above your head. There you go. Yeah! Pull that good!
Yeah!
She should be talking right now. Somebody wants. If you're stoned and in your animation class and you want to send us that, we really would appreciate that.
Very cool. Oh, we need to move the picture because the ball is there. Let me move the picture. Just click on it, move it over. Click on it and then the one that
I got us.
No.
The
one we're actually in. There we go.
I moved it in.
There.
We're back to
Now
Ari's Tavern.
click on that. There we go.
Yeah,
there we go. See how these
That's
people,
some
the
bullshit.
bullshit.
John, you got to pull on the bull rope.
I like the girl up top. She's like, I'm hot. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
No problems.
Romeo, wherefore art thou in the bull chasing, Romeo?
Somebody cut the nuts off this thing.
I think the guy in the black's gonna just drop down on that and ride it through town.
I think he's wearing a thong too, isn't he? Is
He
that
might
it?
be.
This is the new method of sending Honduran children back to Honduras.
This is why we have to come to America.
Yeah. All right, that was terrible. Oh no.
Oh, God.
See, I told you I didn't need that helmet.
I told you that tire was flat.
Come to Bob's Race Car Driving School. Learn to use your head.
Oh my God. Do you think this is going to be a recall?
Yeah. GM offers another recall on the Auto Racer 2000.
Oh, can we be any cuter than that? Hi. Let me out of the box, please. I can't breathe. There's 60 cats in there.
Yeah.
The lady moving us is moving all 50 of us at once.
Yeah. This is what it's like to get on at a good open mic. Just fighting to get through. They're too cute. I can't
They
make
are
fun
cute.
of them.
You can't make fun of the cute cats. They are very, very cute.
Also for sale and for service at the sushi gig.
Two pussies in a box?
It's a lot of pussy in your box.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that guy doesn't like pussy in a box.
My butt hurts.
Oh, man. How to go from top to bottom.
Oh my God. Somebody get me off this thing. Excellent catch. Oh, wait.
Give me the ball back, kid.
Oh my
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh my God, I'm going to play for the Angels!
Is that Frankenstein behind you?
Yeah,
What is
that guy behind him
Who
is
is the
stealing
guy?
the ball.
Oh my God. That other guy's taking his hat. Like, you motherfucker. Give me my hat back. Epic. There are other people to make fun of in there.
Yes. Yeah. The black guy in the back is just like Africa black, man.
Yeah.
The guy with the Brave shirt looked like he only had one arm. I'm not sure.
Shut up, old man!
Justin Bieber is touring with the Rolling Stones.
I think that isn't that guy that's with Queen? Is it?
The one on the left is the Queen, I'm pretty sure. I don't mean to have to help you with
right.
that.
With the outfits now, they all realize that Judas Priest, when
God.
he came out, that
Yeah.
it's not as cool. You know. What?
That's too cute, huh?
Okay.
If I could just get
These two are discussing how to turn these four into an outfit for their concert. I'm on board. That was totally a switchboard joke right there, everybody. I'm thrilled with it. I'm
If it
very
wasn't
happy
for
with
glass, I'd be eating you right now.
it. Yeah.
He's just licking the rest of the zookeeper off.
Lordy.
Wow.
That's
That
nice.
is an animal for go fuck yourself.
Yeah, it's cute.
Oh, and there she is again.
Are we back? Did we rotate through them all, or did you go the other way?
I think I got through them all.
All right, well, sweet.
I got the
I think
pussy.
that was it. We got it. We're good. All right.
Wow, we did.
Well, that was Papa Caption. Hey.
I just like a little theme music. We're on our way out, buddy. We're. You should say something summarily, because it's 6:59.
All righty. Oh well, John, thank you. It's been really good talking to you. Like I say to everyone, like I tell everyone, man, we own this equipment. This is our stuff. We don't have to talk to anybody we don't want to, and we really wanted to talk to you. We think you're going to be huge in this business.
Yeah, I'm loving the fact that I've got a show where I've got support by the venue, and I've got comics that are excited about getting on the show. And
once again, tell them about your show. What time is
it? It's Thursday nights at Sushi High.
Here's your camera right here.
Oh, over there. Not the one that makes my nose look real big.
That's not the one.
I think it's my nose that makes my nose look real big. Thursday nights, 8 to 10, 8:30 to 10. Always have great guys coming through, and they have probably the best sushi in town. Don't tell Sushi Den.
Yeah, I love them. I think they're great. And yeah, so thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chuck Roy, once again.
Chuck Roy loves these. Chuck Roy loves these.
Chuck Roy, get the Ari's Burger and get yourself some sliders.
Hey, I got one plug. August 19th. Come to Double Daughters to watch the world premiere of Filthy Animals.
Double Daughters is?
At 16th and right next to Fitzmario's Pizza, the bar for them.
Cool.
Yeah, that just got announced during our show.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, you can come celebrate my new job.
And also, you want to...
we don't want to talk about my new job.
Not talk about your new job
yet. We'll talk about it next week.
But next week, we're also going to launch the birth of Bear Nation.
Don't talk about my new job.
So I did want to tease the Bear Nation.
You're good. You're
all
good.
Right, good to go.
Thank you
right
for
on.
That.
Once again, thank you very much for watching the show. It's very important. Hit the like buttons, like our Facebook page, like the on YouTube. Hit the little like button. It's very important for us. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week. Have a great week.